Hi, honey, how are you? It's Teknikolour. I have another speed build for you, but this time it is actually a shell challenge that I created that you can still do. So let me first show you what the shell is, and then I'll show you the speed build. This right here is the shell challenge that I came up with on my stream that you can download off of the gallery, and you can create whatever you want. The only rule is you cannot change my exterior walls. So you can't go like this and like add your own walls to it. And you can't like get rid of any of these walls and like change it. And I know that there's a round wall, so I'm sorry. Just go to the gallery, go to my user ID Teknikolour, and you can download it right here. And then when you're done, you can just upload it before January 4th and use the hashtag TechWinter, and then I will tour it on my stream on January 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. But let's check out my speed build right now. So as you can see here, I am already starting to roof this monstrosity of a shell challenge. I actually built the whole shell on stream, and my chat had some good ideas, and we tried to come up with something that we all liked and we thought would be a fun shell to work on. So this is the Tech Winter shell. And if you're interested, you can actually go over to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Teknikolour. So if you're interested to see how building of the shell went, you can see it there. But we did actually not finish the shell on stream because I was hoping that I would be able to come up with an idea for the shell and then also be able to fully furnish it within like a 4-hour stream. And I just wasn't there that day. It didn't work out. It took a while for me to figure out exactly what I wanted to do with a shell in general. And then I ended up not really knowing what I wanted to do on the interior or the exterior or the landscaping. So I did a fair amount, and then we ended up ending stream. And then I finished this like the next 2 days. I'm really glad that I decided to finish the rest of it off of stream because I feel like while I was streaming, I felt like I did not know where I wanted this to go. And I just felt like, I just felt like everything that I did, I was just like unhappy with. As you can see here, it took me a while to even figure out what sort of paint I wanted to use. And once I kind of just shut down, reopened it later, and went back into The Sims and had fun with it, I decided, oh, I know exactly what I want to do now. And it was really exciting because I was not intending to make this like a wintry or like a Christmassy sort of build, but that's what it ended up becoming. You can't see it right now, but by the end, there is snow on the ground. I actually did some terrain manipulation here, which is not something that I normally do. I did do it a little bit when I was competing in the builder games, and I could always get better at it. I knew that I wanted to push myself with it and actually do terrain manipulation here. So that was something that I decided when I was deciding that we were going to be doing a shell, and I'm glad that I stuck to it. It's very hard for me to understand what to do with terrain manipulation or how people can create things that are just phenomenal on like the same lots. But I knew that I had to just go back and just keep at it. So the terrain manipulation did take me a fair amount of time, but I'm happy with it. I think I could definitely improve, but I did my best with it. I did my best with it with what I know. If you have any tips for terrain manipulation, or you know of any good tutorials or anything like that, be sure to drop them in the comments below because I would really, really like to do better at terrain manipulation. I also want to start doing more builds that are limited pack builds because I know that my Twitch chat has said a couple of times that they would love to play in some of my builds, but they don't have all the same packs. I don't know what it is. Every single time that I have made a build, even if I'm intending for it to be a limited pack build, I end up building something that uses like every single pack that I own, which is not great. So also, if you have any suggestions for builds that you would like to see using specific packs, I would definitely be interested in doing some limited pack builds, but I never really know what packs to use. I know I could do a random generator, but I'd also like to hear from you to see like what sort of packs you use the most or what sort of packs you have, and maybe go from there. But we could also do a random generator. We'll see. As you can see, it took me a very long time to figure out the entrance situation. I knew that I wanted the door there very early on. I think I was like still creating the build and I knew that part was going to be the entrance. I just wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do it. I knew that I wanted there to be like split level sort of stuff, either coming in or going out. And it took me a long time to just live with not using platforms, because I really wanted to use platforms because I feel like I'm getting better with using platforms, and platforms can be really buggy and for me really frustrating to use, but I feel like the more you use them, the more you'll get better at it. So I knew that I wanted to use it. It just wasn't right for this build because it just ends up limiting the amount of space that you can actually use in the shell. Originally, the shell challenge was going to be a lot larger, and I ended up making it smaller and smaller. Basically because of chat's request. I know the chat had said that our last shell was a little bigger, but I feel like this one is actually either a little larger or like the same size. So I don't know. Is this a small shell? Is this a large shell? What would you say? I wanted this to be a family home, and you might be looking at this and be like, this is small though. And it is a small house because I knew that I wanted the first floor to have no bedrooms. I wanted there to be like kind of a half bath, and I wanted the kitchen to be rather large, and then I wanted the living area. And there's really no good place that I could find to put the stairs. So I'm very interested to see what people come up with when we do the actual shell tours, because I have a feeling that people are going to surprise me and end up making it so obvious that the stairs could have gone in like so many other places. But I ended up putting the stairs there, and I didn't want it to like eat up a lot of space, so I did some decorating around it. The pet bed is right underneath the stairs, and there's actually a storage dresser, which you're probably not going to put many things in because it's going to be hard to get behind there. I don't think any of this is functional, because when I was testing out the snow and preparing for screenshots, I realized that even though it looks like there's a fair amount of space in front and around the Christmas tree, they can't get in. So I actually had to teleport my sim in. So if you were randomly to decide to play in this, you'd probably have to remove either some of the presents or the Christmas tree itself and just do whatever you want with it. But I figure most people are not going to be playing in a shell build. So I figured if it's not functional, I think that's okay. But I knew that I wanted there to be like that big open entryway. And I wanted it to be, originally I wanted this to be more modern, but then I decided to go more with like the feel that I get from Copperdale, which is like very family oriented. And I wanted it to be kind of like cabin feeling. And so I think having the entry like lead into the kitchen, which is like all open and has that big like breakfast nook, as well as then having like that very close-knit living room, I knew that that was what this first floor needed. I was very surprised that I was actually able to fit a fairly sizable bathroom in here. You'd probably be able to fit a full bath in there if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. because I knew that the upper floor was going to be the primary bedroom. So it's kind of like a lofted space. And then they have their own bathroom up there, which is fairly large. So my whole thought was I was going to have this storyline. It's going to be a gay couple, and they are celebrating Christmas. They have a new baby. They've already set up the crib for it upstairs, and they are just excited to celebrate their first holiday in the house. And they don't know if they're going to be doing some construction on the house and maybe changing things upstairs. Maybe they'll make the bathroom on the first floor into a full bath and then change the rooms upstairs so it's more bedrooms. But right now it's a loft space, and you can see that they are very excited for the new child. I decided that they were going to have a very big bathroom, but I was going to make it known that like the baby has been like more of a newer arrival, because maybe that's why the bathroom cabinet is weirdly like in the living room. And that is why the diaper changing station is now in the parents' bedroom. Just little things like that I decided to add into this, because it can be very hard to tell a story with a build, especially if it's just like a one-off build. But I feel like shell challenges, they really give you that inspiration to really come up with a story and try to come up with something that is going to be different from everyone else. So even if you're doing the same thing as me and you're doing a residential build, it's likely going to be extremely different. It is so interesting to me whenever I have hosted or taken part in somebody else's shell challenge where everyone is basically given the exact same slate, where you're not allowed to change any of the exterior walls. You're not allowed to add onto it in any way. That is against the rules. And if you're interested in the rules, you can see it at the gallery post or on my Instagram or in the description down below. It's just wild to me that so many people will be given a blank slate and then go in a completely different direction. Like everyone tackles it in a completely different way. And it's just so inspiring, which this is actually how I got into Sims building, because I didn't really know how to build and I was very still new to The Sims. The Sims 4 is my very first Sims game, and it was just so cool to just do a shell challenge and then watch how people looked at it and then tackled it differently. So now that I'm hosting my own shell challenges, and I've been doing this for a little bit now, it's so fun to finally get to do the tours and just see what everyone else has come up with. And it's just so fun to see like the excitement out of everyone, not just because like you're touring their build. It's nice to just be able to see everyone's like thought process and kind of like talk with them about it too. Like someone during one of my last shell challenges turned it into an entire amusement park, which I was not expecting at all. People have also created like complexes. So it's like multiple stores. It's like kind of like an outlet mall sort of thing. And it's just so interesting to see how people tackle the same thing differently. I tend to do residential builds generally for all of my builds. It's just what I really like, and I think I excel at. I don't think I've ever done a shell challenge where I've made like a community lot or something. I think I need to do more community builds, so maybe that's something I'll have to work on next year. Anyway, if you're interested, just a little plug again for my Twitch channel. We do a fair amount of Sims content, but I am a variety streamer, so I play a fair amount of games. So currently I've been playing Palia, Dead by Daylight. We just finished The Last of Us, and we actually have a goal to see if we can play The Last of Us 2. And I really hope we make it, because The Last of Us 1 was so exciting. I had a really, really good time playing it, and I did not expect to. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, because I enjoy cozy games way more. Like Palia and The Sims. But we do a fair amount of Sims content. We've actually been building for almost like 3 months, and we're just getting into gameplay right now. So we've just recently started, so it's one of the perfect times to jump in. My sim, Jet Wyndham, he's kind of like a Nepo baby, kind of. It might not be super obvious because we are struggling in the actor career so far, but he's going to be a famous actor. He basically bought a mansion in Del Sol Valley, and all of his friends are all rich and famous and live in mansions in Del Sol Valley. So yeah, he's going to start dating. He's actually already gone on a date with Harry Styles from the gallery using Cupid's Corner. He's gone on a couple of dates. I really don't know who he's gonna end up with. It's not gonna be Harry Styles, unfortunately. But we're gonna have to check out different suitors and just see who tickles his fancy. But he's gonna be a bit of a bad boy. So it's weird because I really like him, and I tend to like fall in love with like each of my Sims. I just love creating their stories and just, I don't know, just seeing how their life like progresses, but we're not really supposed to like this one. And if you read my legacy rules, you'd kind of understand why. But I don't know, it's going to be interesting because this is so different from what I normally do in The Sims. So I'm very excited to see where his storyline takes us and how it all works. Like, I'm planning on have him being a dad a little bit older than everyone else. And it's scary because his parents recently aged up into elders. So we don't have that much time left because I would like them to move in with him. So if you're interested, I do Sims content every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And then of course, these tours are going to be on Saturday, January 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, if you're interested, give it a check out. If you also want to take part in the shell challenge, you don't have to come for the tours. I will still tour everyone's build if I can. But yeah, another thing that I should mention is in my last YouTube video, I was talking about how badly my back hurt, and it is finally feeling better. I think it was the weather, and I had like a pretty weird car accident in the past where my mom and I were both in the car and we ended up like getting some weird back problems from there. So every now and again it pops up, and it is not as bad as it's been, which was excruciating, but this lasted so long, and I was just so hopeful that I would not be in pain for that long. My back hurt the entire time I was visiting family for Thanksgiving, but thankfully the pain has gone away. Hopefully I won't have to deal with that again. Speaking of back home, if you're interested, there is a tiny update with our crazy downstairs neighbor. If you haven't been keeping up, or if you're new, we have a new neighbor who moved in below us, and they insist that we hate them because we can hear their television and it's too loud. So we're like throwing things on our floor on purpose to like annoy them, which could not be further from the truth because we cannot even hear them in our apartment. Yet they have repeatedly pounded on our door and screamed at us and said really awful things about us. So who knows? But this most recent update, they had seen my boyfriend when he was going to pick up packages in the mailroom, and he looked over and there this neighbor was, and they like death glared him. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's just like the weirdest thing to just have beef with a neighbor because you think that they're annoyed with the amount of noise that you're making, especially because we had many like moments with this neighbor where we even invited them into our apartment and we tried to figure out like what the noise could be. And we also said, we know that nobody's been living under us for a little bit, so we'll also try to make sure that we're being quieter, like, because we don't want to disturb you. And we've also had neighbors before that were not very kind, so we want to make sure that like we're not those neighbors. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It seems like there's always something new every single week, but we'll see. Speaking of last week, in last week's video, I mentioned that we were potentially going to go see the movies. We were potentially going to the movies with friends, and we ended up going to the movies. We had a few friends cancel, which was unfortunate. A lot of people have been going around getting a cold, and actually my boyfriend caught that cold. I think he's starting to feel better now, so hopefully Hopefully you're not catching whatever everyone else has been catching. Thankfully, I haven't gotten sick yet, and hopefully I don't. But we decided we were still gonna go see the movie, and I'm so glad that we did because I've officially become obsessed. So we saw the movie Wicked, and full disclosure, and please no spoilers, I have not seen the stage show. I've not read the book that it is based on, but we went to see it. I was enthralled. I am just so impressed with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande and the entire cast. And I just can't stop listening to the soundtrack. And actually, this is going to sound kind of embarrassing, but my boyfriend and I, we are just like nonstop watching like every single interview that we can. And a lot of them, like they end up saying like the same things that they said in other interviews. But like, we just can't consume enough Wicked content right now. Maybe I'll have to do a Wicked themed build. I don't know, because I'm just obsessed. Like I can't get enough. Like I have basically nonstop listened to the Wicked soundtrack over and over and over. And it's just part one. It's just part one. Like they still have to do the second part. I really want to see the stage show now. I don't know. Also, I recently finished, I think I just mentioned that I had started watching Arcane Season 1, which is based on League of Legends, which is not a game I've ever played or think I really ever will. But I don't think you need to know anything about the game. The story is so interesting. And I just finished Season 1. And actually, right before this, I had lunch and I was watching Season 2, Episode 1. And oh my God, I can't wait to watch more. So if you're looking for a new show to watch, can definitely recommend Arcane. But anyway, we are nearing the end of the build right now. So why don't we pop into the game and I can show you the tour. I decided to build on the Hillside Haven lot in Copperdale, and you have a view of the Ferris wheel and everything in the back, but this is the house. I did do some terrain manipulation, which was kind of exciting because I'm not very good at that. On the first floor, when you come through the front door, you are greeted with this massive Christmas tree. And then over here to the left, you have the living room. And then through this door, you have a little bathroom. And then you have a very huge eat-in kitchen. Then by the fireplace, you have this staircase with a pet bed and some plants and stuff behind it. Once you go upstairs, you can see the primary bedroom, and there is a balcony. There's their own little TV, and you can see here that they have a baby and they're expecting them to age up soon. Here is the primary bathroom as well. You have the backyard, which has a little pool, which is fenced in so the little one doesn't get in. And you've also got some toys, and you've got some outdoor decor as well. But that, my friends, is what I turned my shell challenge into. So I hope to see what you come up with. And we'll again be doing the tours on January 4th over on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Teknikolour. But if you like this content and you want to see more Sims builds like this, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. But I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.